in self-discovery, there are basic capabilities every human being is endowed with from birth. Just discover that. That's enough for you to fulfill whatever mission you are here on earth for. And I'll explain a little further. Every human being born into this world comes already equipped with an innate potential, said that each and every person born into this world has the inborn capability to come up with an idea, a theory, a product, or a service that is capable of positively impacting the lives of at least 1 billion people within 10 years. And this one, whether you've discovered something that is unique about you or not, you still have the potential to achieve this. Just harness this potential and deploy it to the benefit of humanity. Okay. Now, as you are developing that innate potential, once you have been, certain things will interest, others will not interest you. Now, of those that interest you, you can pursue them. Okay. Out of those, a few will stand out and become your passion. When you further develop them, they can become your purpose. What is most important is the value you bring to people around or to society. If along the line, you're able to find things that are unique about you, it will go to enhance the
discovery,
the value you are bringing to society.
Okay, that is very powerful. We welcome you to our conversation this morning or this afternoon or evening, as the time may be at your end. Today we are doing a review on a course that we run that should provide a roadmap for the execution of your life assignment. We are discussing the concept of personal development. We have no other person in a better position to do this discussion with me than my own senior brother and coach, Ejim. Okay, that was welcome.
Thank you.
And we are excited. People have been giving great feedback on the Conversations with Consequence podcast.
Yes.
That's Seers Podcast.
It's been encouraged.
Yeah. So we are happy that we are also going to start this new series as we especially approach the youth tide. What is the key to changing the level of our lives? Doctor here has taken several hundred people through a procedure that has produced results. I'm one of that process, and there are several of us. And he's giving this whole procedure out to us online. Stay tuned. You'll be blessed.
The world has changed. Essentially, everything has gone digital, including business cards. We are in the era of smart business cards. A smart business card is like a bank card. It has a microchip in it. A user needs just one. And with that special single smart business card, one can share and save contact details and more to a prospect's phone with just a single tap. With swag. For instance, you just show the smart business card to the person's phone and bingo! The contact details get transmitted wirelessly, correctly and instantly onto the person's phone. Someone calls it a miracle business card. Just go to seersap.com/SBC or scan the QR code and get free guidance.
We are dealing with personal development and then the function of wealth creation. Doc, so let's start it this way. You are a Ghanaian like myself and an African for that matter. But since meeting you, it looks as if there is something different about your being Ghanaian.
Okay.
Is there a background to that? Since meeting you, I realize you function on a different level. So I want to first ask this general question, then I'll come back to my set of questions.
Well, maybe based on the experiences I've had growing up until this time, I think I've learned a lot that has influenced the way I think and the way I do everything.
Generally, I've had very good positive experiences from you. So it's why I feel inspired, and I also feel challenged to see that a Ghanaian, just like myself and just like everybody else, is able to operate at another level. And I think that's commendable. So, Doc, let me just start this way by asking that what inspired your journey to self-discovery? you are trying to establish a point in the course that the key to all of life's greatest achievements and fulfillment is basically personal development.
Great.
And you are trying to found personal development on self-discovery. So what inspired that journey for you in person?
Well, I'll take it from the environment I was brought up in. Of course, I didn't ask to come into this world. I just woke up one day to realize that I was here and I was living among a group of people. I noticed that those around me used to use their hands a lot. So almost on a daily basis, I wake up seeing people working with their hands, especially my immediate environment. My mom was a stenographer secretary. My dad was an art master and always was producing one artwork or the other on commercial basis. So he was making books, binding books. He was designing and printing cloth, including batik, tie and dye, and all that. He actually specialized in textiles and was the best student during his year group at KNUST, those times UST. So he used to produce a lot of stuff. And then in the community, people were using tin cans. Cutting them to produce cars, more or less toy cars, coal pots. So I also naturally gravitated towards doing same. Okay, so that has been the process until the university, and I finished school. And then I joined the youth fellowship. Okay, along the line, I was elected to lead the fellowship. And for the first time, I decided to learn about leadership because even though I had been a student leader throughout the schooling days, I had never been taken through proper leadership training. And for the youth fellowship, it was so wide a range of beings that I needed to know how to really lead, to be able to lead them effectively. So I went in for leadership books at the bookshop. Now, when I got those leadership books, other books caught my attention. So I picked them. Books like See You at the Top, books like Think and Grow Rich, books like An Enemy Called Average, and a few others. It's when I started reading them, I was discovering things that were of direct relevance to life. Okay, that's the 6+ years of university had not given me consciously. So I ventured more into covering self-help books. To date, I've covered at least 1,000 volumes of help books. Wow. So it's given me a lot of perspectives, and it led me into getting interested in almost every kind of knowledge. So I read almost anything and everything, from computers to quantum physics to everything. I just have grown to love knowledge. So, and because of the upbringing, I got to know that knowledge is for application. When you know something, it's not for the purpose of keeping it in your head, so for the purpose of producing something. So all that I learned, I try to implement them. So probably that's why you find what you
Wow. So just picking up from what you just said, I'm looking at our growing up. Many of us came up with this canned cars.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember those canned cars and so many other playful things, the coal pots and so cooking on these things.
Ours was more commercial. We used to sell those things.
Huh?
Yes, we used to take them to the market or market days to go and sell.
The things?
Yes.
And it was bought?
Why not? Yes.
Wow.
Yes, so it wasn't just for the fun of it.
Oh, okay.
Even at a point, I was writing for magazines.
Okay.
Car magazines, especially. So I was subscribing to all manner of car magazines that they were sending me. Even that one, I used to sell some.
Wow.
So I've been that commercially oriented.
You know, I want to ask this thing just in passing and I'll come back. How come you were able to transition from the realm of play, because some people went through the same experiences, but they could not transition the play realm into the realm of reality. You brought the realm of play into a real world, and it became, you could actually determine an economic value out of the play realm.
Okay.
Because I think that basically is one of the problems why I was asking, are you a Ghanaian?
I think it boils down to what I said earlier on about the environment. Because my dad was doing things for commercial purposes.
Okay.
My mom was also doing things for commercial. My mom was a stenographer secretary. In addition to that, he used to prepare kinke for others to sell. So my mom's side business was
kinke
business. So I've seen more of commercial in almost every level of my development.
That's a very big point there, because you realize our society, I think what you have just said has given me a picture of why large fractions of our society, we have still the skill of play, but we can't transition it to have a commercial value for it.
Okay.
I'm going to ask this follow-up question. In your journey of self-discovery, were there things you realized that you found out, because you kept mentioning your dad and your mom and your sibling and your environment, but were there characteristic things that you found out to be unique to you as a sense of authenticity? Like, though my dad has this, my mom has this, like, this is me in this journey of self-discovery. Is there something authentic that you realize that no, in the domain of authenticity, this is like mine?
The world has changed. Essentially, everything has gone digital, including business cards. We are in the era of smart business cards. A smart business card is like a bank card. It has a microchip in it. A user needs just one. And with that special single smart business card, one can share and save contact details and more to a prospect's phone with just a single tap, with swag. For instance, you just show the smart business card to the person's phone and bingo, the contact details get transmitted wirelessly, correctly and instantly onto the person's phone. Someone calls it a miracle business card. Just go to seersapp.com/SBC or scan the QR code and get free guidance.
Okay. I don't know whether that's uniquely mine.
Okay.
But I don't accept things on face value.
Okay.
I can say so because others have. I don't go the way everybody seems to want to be going.
Okay.
And I question a lot. If I'm not convinced about, or let me use persuaded about something, chances are that I'll not do it.
Okay.
I'm not easily moved by fantasies.
Good.
Okay. So even within the church environment, I question a lot of things.
That is great. So that's, you personally must be convinced about the thing. You don't take a wholesale. So I want to ask this follow-up question. You are discovering yourself and you are finding what is authentic to you. You think it is something you would recommend for everybody watching? Why don't you just accept the status quo and accept the wholesale program?
Okay. From what I know now, I wouldn't say rediscover yourself in the sense that you should find what is unique about you. I wouldn't recommend that.
Okay.
Because what is unique about you may not necessarily be of value to the world.
Okay.
So in self-discovery, there are basic capabilities every human being is endowed with from birth. Just discover that. That's enough for you to fulfill whatever mission you are here on earth for. And I'll explain a little further. And this sometimes sounds hard to chew for a lot of people, but it's a basic fact that every human being born into this world comes already equipped with an innate potential such that each and every person born into this world has the inborn capability to come up with an idea, a theory, a product, or a service that is capable of positively impacting the lives of at least 1 billion people within 10 years. And this one, whether you've discovered something that is unique about you or not, you still have the potential to achieve this. So rather than wander in the doldrums trying to find out what is unique about you, just harness this potential and deploy it to the benefit of humanity. Okay. Now, as you are developing that innate potential, every human being has interests. Okay. So there are things that, whether by genetic disposition or by exposure, there are certain things that interest you that do not interest others. There are things that interest others that may not interest you. So once you have been, certain things will interest others will not interest you. Now, of those that interest you, you can pursue them. Okay. Out of those, a few will stand out and become your passion. When you further develop them, they can become your purpose. So that's why I was saying prior to this that focus on harnessing that potential that is known to exist in every human being. And not necessarily what is unique about you. What is most important is the value you bring to people around you or to society. So, and that when you look at your immediate environment, your household or yourself, your household, your community, your neighborhood, your town, your region, the country, the continent, and then the world at large. And even now, thanks to people like Elon Musk, they are looking beyond the earth and looking at the universe in its entirety. So at these various levels, just harness that natural potential in you available to everybody and apply it to the benefit of humanity at these various levels without too much focusing on what is unique about you. If along the line you're able to find things that are unique about you, it will go to enhance the
discovery,
the value you are bringing to society.
Okay, that is very powerful. So what you are saying is young people or people listening, a youth listening, a parent listening, a young professional listening to you should focus primarily on building on interests. Because each person has specific special interest areas. The pursuing of the interest will lead to a passion. So the person becomes passionate about what he's interested in or she's interested in. And as you pursue the passion, it will progress to a stage where you can actually say, probably this is my purpose. So interest to passion, passion to purpose. And then as you continue to improve on the passion, you are going to find yourself being increasingly more contributing towards giving value to your society. And that will be your reward. That's the place where you'll be rewarded for the contribution you're making.
Yes. Let me emphasize that even though we are talking about what interests you, blah, 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 the most important is the value that you can bring to people. Well, at the end of the day, we are to serve humanity with our giftings. So if what interests you does not bring value to anybody, it won't mean much. But at the end of the day, you find commercial value in everything you do. Once you are here on earth and you eat and you have to find a place to sleep and clothes to wear and health, you need to be bringing commercial value so that you can have good earnings to be able to live comfortably. And that's really underpins the greatest principle in wealth creation. That you can get everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. So in harnessing your true or hidden potential, the principal objective is to use it to serve people and then get commercial returns on it eventually. Of course, that doesn't mean you can't do things for the purpose of it.
We'll even come and delve deeper to the world creation.
The world has changed. Essentially, everything has gone digital, including business cards. We are in the era of smart business cards. A smart business card is like a bank card. It has a microchip in it. A user needs just one. And with that special single smart business card, one can share and save contact details and more to a prospect's phone with just a single tap, with swag. For instance, you just show the smart business card to the person's phone and bingo! The contact details get transmitted wirelessly, correctly and instantly onto the person's phone. Someone calls it a miracle business card. Just go to seersapp.com/SBC or scan the QR code and get free guidance.
Remember that we are on a discussion of personal development and wealth creation. You know, young people, our curiosity and all that, without a lot of background planning and preparation, we fall into a situation that ends up creating a responsibility for us in terms of family, or not even family, but I'm talking about especially single parents.
Okay.
So I'm speaking with a parent there who is looking at you right now and asking to become a parent, not by design, not by my plan. Like you sit down and say, okay, at 30 years, I'll be married, I'll have my children, I'll have a family, and we'll do this. Do you have a word for such a person? Is this principle still applicable to such a person?
Yes, very much so. Because in personal development, you are going to have to learn a number of what I call the core resource areas of life. Okay. And when it comes to parenting, then you are looking at the issue of how to, quote and unquote, manage people, because you've been placed in leadership position whereby you are now having to manage the child or children that you've given birth to. Okay. And in personal development, especially based on Zinc for Life principles, we say that human beings are not like other resources. So you don't manage them per se, but you lead them. So it means every parent must understand that he's a leader by default or by virtue of their status as a parent, and therefore needs to learn leadership consciously. Okay. And as part of that process, he has to also learn emotional intelligence. And of course, time management and a few others. With that, you'll be able to raise your child properly, easier, and more effectively, whilst having adequate time for whatever you do as a parent. Currently, some of the greatest challenges parents face is having enough time for their children. Okay. And so the issue of time management will help a parent to be able to do whatever he needs to do by way of work, etc. And also have adequate time with the child. And of course, whilst with the child, apply the right approaches using emotional intelligence and proper leadership skills to then raise the child. Then also, all these discussions eventually should lead into wealth creation. Okay. So for that single parent or that parent, young parent, certainly being able to raise additional income or improving the income for the household will be positive. So should definitely stay tuned and follow the discussion.
So that is for the parent who is watching. Stay tuned and keep following. We'll get to wealth creation.
By the way, whilst at it, I think we should direct them to a good resource.
Exactly.
So when they go to
seersapp.com
/TM. Time management.
TM. Okay, good.
So
seersapp.com /TM. seersapp.com /TM. You check on our time management course to be a benefit to you. Doc also mentioned Zinc for Life. It's a program that we run, a training session. I'm sure we'll give you further details as we proceed with the program. I want to ensure that we finish this short part under the first topic, which is becoming the real you. There is a real you, and you need to become that real you. So that's what we are trying to explore. Doc spoke on this topic, started with the issue of his self-discovery journey, proceeded on how he authentically distinguished himself in offering value to the society. And the third question is, how do you overcome barriers to becoming your real self, where you can put out your whole potential as a child of God, as an image of God? But there are barriers. That's the problem. There are so many barriers for the child, for the student, for the young professional, for the parents. So, Doc, what are some barriers you encountered? We want to know about some barriers you encountered. How did you go about it?
Barriers. As for barriers, part of life, and they will never cease. Okay, so you should, first of all, not look forward to a time in your life where there are no barriers. Okay, it's not natural. There will always be barriers. What are some of the barriers I personally encountered? When I was going to secondary school, we were staying at the official bungalow for the secondary school where my dad was teaching. But my dad traveled out of the country to see greener pastures. So we had to leave the bungalow. Now, where we went to stay was a place that was not fully finished. So there was no electricity. So for much of my secondary school, I was staying at a place where there was no electricity. So we had to depend on kerosene lamps.
Wow.
Yes. The situation was such that at certain times, I actually looked down upon myself. I felt, why are we staying at this place? No electricity. So you don't have access to watching TV, but in a way, that also helped. So it means that the distraction that TV would have brought my way was eliminated.
Yeah.
So I had more time to then explore. All right. Which I did. And eventually at O level, I ended up topping the school and then the district. And that changed my perspective of things. Okay. So since then, I realized that, so though it's an obstacle, really, something good could also come out of that. And I realized that in most situations, it's like that. So I think yesterday I was reflecting on the issue of strengths and weaknesses. And I've always told myself that the things that you may see as a weakness often is a strength in disguise. So whether you see it as a strength or a weakness all depends on your perspective of things. Okay. So that was one. Another obstacle I would say would be when I finished school and needed to start life. I had no family in Accra. I wanted to be in Accra. I actually wanted to work with a particular firm in Accra here. So I needed to move here. I didn't have a place to stay. Okay. So that was also a barrier. And of course, the obstacles haven't ended.
No.
But the point I need to emphasize is that no matter what comes your way, you must not give up. You must not feel discouraged, but press on, look at it from different angles, and then accept whatever immediate solutions that becomes available to you whilst you pursue better solutions to deal with the obstacles.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So we'll be back.
The world has changed. Essentially, everything has gone digital, including business cards. We are in the era of smart business cards. A smart business card is like a bank card. It has a microchip in it. A user needs just one. And with that special single smart business card, one can share and save contact details and more to a prospect's phone with just a single tap, with swag. For instance, you just show the smart business card to the person's phone and bingo, the contact details get transmitted wirelessly, correctly and instantly onto the person's phone. Someone calls it a miracle business card. Just go to seersap.com/SBC or scan the QR code and get free guidance.
So, Doc, let me ask this question. We are still under becoming the real you. Probably I'll ask the last question under becoming the real you. Then we'll go to the next session, which deals with birthing the eagle in you. I remember I attended a session where Doc was spoke about an eagle that was almost turned into a turkey. He talked about the integral. Yes, but there is an eagle in you. You may be behaving like a turkey or like a chicken, like a duck, but there's an eagle in you. So we'll go to the next session that will teach us how to birth the eagle in you. So let me ask this last question. Doc, with all these things that you are saying, very busy, and you have a lot of responsibility on your hand, and at this point, a young person watching you realizes that it's a life he may desire. If he sees the outward, he may desire that life, but he's wondering if he can manage his personal life with respect to his just taking care of himself. And the person sees that you have so much responsibility, but you are still looking handsome. You are still looking young. You are dealing with responsibility, but you are still looking young, fresh. You are just managing. So the person wants to ask the question that, how are you managing your personal care and then your personal development?
Okay.
Just within a minute, then we'll move to the next session of birthing the ego.
Okay. That's a very interesting question. It has to do with virtually everything we are having to talk about. And our personal development, a number of things are relevant. Discovering the ego in you is part. Time management is part. Understanding the natural laws and working with them is part. Then health management is part. Understanding and practicing happiness is part. Managing your emotions is part. Managing your faith is part. So let me say that because of the journey I undertook, I've had to deal with all these things in my life. So the health aspect, it may be a long story, so I don't want to get into it. Something that happened at the hospital in Kumasi led me to decide, and the key word here is decide, that I'm not going to fall sick.
Okay.
Again. If I'm not going to fall sick again, it means that I have to make sure I don't do things that makes me fall sick. For those who want to know what happened, if you go to seersapp.com, you can search for how I died and 3 lessons I learned before waking up.
Okay,
I've written about that experience.
So check on that. Check on that.
Yeah, it's a blog article.
Yeah.
But from that, I decided that I also wasn't going to depend on curative medications. So some of the things I do, because of the way I work, I don't sleep for long hours. When I feel I'm falling ill, I'm over stressing the body, I virtually stop everything I'm doing and then I sleep. And then during that period, I take a lot of fluids. So a lot of water, oranges, and there's a particular kind of orange I like, the one that has the reddish.
Okay.
And then pineapple. So I take a lot of water, fluids in general, fruits, then I eat very well. Generally, I eat my food as my medicine, so that I wouldn't have to eat medicine as my food.
Nice.
Okay, so I do that. I don't worry. Okay. No matter what is going on in my life, you'll not find me fretting. So when I hit my bed, within 5 minutes, I'm gone. And when I sleep, I don't wake up to wee or anything. So I must run my full course, and I need at least 4 hours of sleep. So my body will get its 4 hours, sometimes more. I don't use alarm to wake up.
Okay.
So my body makes sure it's hard enough that it will wake up by itself. Okay. I don't think negative thoughts. I don't wish ill for anybody, no matter what. So all these, I think, contributed to what you are saying.
Wow. Listeners, I hope you are enjoying this particular question. It's very important. In the recent years, I think last year and last 2 years, You hear of people who are quote unquote successful and the health could not sustain them. So success, as Doc was saying, he's saying that success is a capsule that is not just about your economic value. It's a whole capsule, including your physical well-being, mental well-being, social well-being.
Oh, well, let me add this.
Okay.
I laugh a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So my favorite movies are cartoons.
Okay.
Yeah. I like to watch a movie. I must be laughing throughout the movie. But the purpose of me watching the movie
is to relax.
So I'm not going to write exams on the movie.
Remember, your wealth is your health, and your health is your wealth.
The world has changed. Essentially, everything has gone digital, including business cards. We are in the era of smart business cards. A smart business card is like a bank card. It has a microchip in it. A user needs just one. And with that special single smart business card, one can share and save contact details and more to a prospect's phone with just a single tap, with swag. For instance, you just show the smart business card to the person's phone and bingo! The contact details get transmitted wirelessly, correctly and instantly onto the person's phone. Someone calls it a miracle business card. Just go to seersapp.com/SBC or scan the QR code and get free guidance.